What's going on, guys? It's your boy Aaron. Today I'm going to be showing you how to communicate with your Discord bots from a separate application. Now, it's hard for me to explain, but essentially what I want to be showing you guys is, let's say you have a Discord bot. We've got a Discord bot here, okay? Let's pretend it's online, okay? Everything's good with it, okay? But I'm running a website. Now, I want my website to communicate with the Discord bot, but I don't know how to do that, okay? Um, it's pretty simple. Now, let's say you want the website when someone logs in on your website. Okay, you want the Discord bot to then send a message in the chat saying, "This user has logged in" or something like that. I'm gonna be showing you how to do that. Now, a lot of people think the best way to do this is use something like MySQL. Put something in a table, let's say, have the bot check it over and over again until something's changed. That's what one person said to me, okay, and that was the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry, guys, I don't want to like talk down to anyone, but that's kind of stupid. It's really resource intensive and it's not the best, okay. But what I'm going to be showing is how to do this, anyways. So what you're going to need for this is a Discord bot. I've got one made as well as a bot class made. I'm gonna change the token, guys. Don't try some shit, okay? But once you've got your bot, let's pretend you guys have some whole bot. Okay, I'm not going to be showing you guys how to do this from like an actual whole Discord bot. I don't actually have one. I just made one real quick. But also going to be sending data over through through a separate program, which is going. We can pretend this is your website or this is another application you want to communicate from. Okay. What you want to do is in your bot you're going to be making some stuff. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do this through networking. So we're going to be sending packets back and forth through from the application to the Discord bot. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to create a listener for the Discord bot. Okay, now if you guys don't know what a listener is, it's basically, let's say, it listens for data to be sent to, well, the Discord bot in this case. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a class that extends thread because this is going to be a separate thread. We're then going to, let's see, what do we need to do here? We can actually accept a integer for the listener port. So we can, no, constructor please. Okay, now what we need to do is we're going to create the override method for the thread, so public void run. Now create everything. We're all good now. We want to create a try and catch over here. Okay, we're gonna throw any exceptions this way. Actually no, let's throw an IO exception this way. Actually no, let's just throw any exception this way. I don't give a crap. Okay, and then we could do error starting listener. This will tell us if there's a problem with the listener. Then we can print the stack trace. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create the server socket. Now this is a object you can create. You want to do server socket. As you can see, then we're going to give an identifier and we're going to create the object. Now, it takes a parameter which is going to be the port, so we can slap port in from up here. Now we're going to want to what's it called? Actually, no, we're only going to handle IO exception here, to be honest. Fuck it. Now what we need to do is we've created the server socket. That's great. Okay, this is going to be listening. Now what we need to do is we actually need to what's it called? Hold on, I'm thinking here. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, okay. Yeah, do you know what we can do? Okay, so we're going to start. Oh, sorry guys, I just had an idea. Okay, but I'm not going to take you guys through some long route through this. Okay, anyways, you want to make a while loop here, and we're just going to have it run forever because what this while loop is essentially going to do is it's going to be accepting incoming connections. We don't want it to accept one connection and then stop running. Okay, we want it to keep accepting as many connections as it can. Obviously, you guys are not stupid here. Okay, so we've got that there. Now, before we get into the next part, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new class. This is going to be called, let's say handler. Okay, fuck it, let's call it handler. Okay, what this is going to do is this is going to be a separate runnable. This is going to be accepting threads basically. Essentially, what this is going to do is we don't actually need to create a new class for this, but we're going to create a new class for this anyways. What this is going to do is it's going to wait for when connections come through. We're going to send the connections to this separate runnable. We're going to turn into a thread. Then we're going to let this one run separately. This is going to run itself, okay? This is going to be handling the connection essentially. And what this will do is this will allow us to accept multiple connections at once. We don't have to actually do one by one. Because if you write the whole handler inside of this while loop, what's going to happen is when a connection gets sent, it's going to have to go through this entire one loop of it handling the connection and whatnot and doing what it needs to do with the connection. And what that will do is if another client tries to connect, it's going to drop the connection because there's currently something, the while loop's not, waiting for a connection, it's currently doing something. So this will help with that. Now what we need to do is we need to accept a socket. Okay, so we're going to do private socket. This is going to be the client or the connection. Then we can implement, and then we can implement the methods we need to implement, which is just the run method again. Now inside of here, we're going to obviously try catch. You can just accept any exceptions, I guess. And now we're assuming the client's going to send a string. The string value is going to be, let's say, it's going to say some text, okay? We're then going to print text, okay? That's simple, okay? We're gonna receive text and we're gonna print the text, okay? So you may be thinking, how do we do this? Okay, so first things first, we're going to close the socket over here because we want that closed. We don't want to leave this open. We're also going to let's create a buffered reader because we want to read the input text. Okay. Let's see. New input stream reader socket input stream. Once you've got the reader, then you can do the following. We're going to have a string called f. This is just where we're going to hold all the strings the buffer reader reads. We're going to do a while loop. We're going to add 2 brackets like so. Inside of the first set of brackets, we're going to put f equals reader.readline. Then the next out that we're just going to do does not equal null. So this will check if a string equals, if this string equals null. If it doesn't, then it's going to go over here and we can obviously handle it through the f string. So let's see. So we've received line, okay? Received text. It's all working and everything, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to call the. So remember, guys, in the bot class, the JDA method has to be public, okay? It has to be a public static JDA object because obviously, some people don't make it public, some people don't, but for this it has to be public because we're going to be sending messages over, okay? So obviously we're not going to be doing anything weird. We're just going to be sending messages into the Discord chat, and to do this we need access to the JDA object, okay? So we're going to go bot.jda. Now if your JDA is not public, just make it public, okay? Then we can do get guilds .get, and then we can get the first guild, which is the only one it's in. Then we can do get channel by ID. Then we need to get the ID of the channel, which should be this one. And send message. Then we're going to send f.q. Okay, that's actually all we need to do. Then go to close the reader, and I believe that's actually all we need to do for the handler. We can also print a stack trace if we do get an error. Okay, so now over here what we need to do is we're going to start off with a try catch. Actually, no, we're going to start off with a try with resource. If a try with resource is, I'll show you what it is. But first, what you want to do is create a try catch as you normally would. But instead of just try bracket, we're going to do try. We're going to insert a parameter. The parameter is going to be a socket object. We're going to do socket socket equals server socket dot accept. Now, simple as, okay, we're going to catch IO exception and done. Now what we want to do is what this does, for those of you guys that don't know, it essentially makes sure this socket closes no matter. Actually, no, we don't want to close the socket, do we? I'm sorry guys, I'm a bit of a noob today. Okay, so let's just throw an exception. Now you may be wondering, why are we handling exceptions in here and not over here? That is because when an exception gets thrown in this try catch, it's most likely going to be because this connection closed too early, or there was a problem while it was connecting, or something like that. I'm not sure what kind of error we'd get at this point, to be honest with you. But we don't want to close this. We don't want to end this entire loop over here. We want to. If the connection doesn't work, do we want to say, okay, we're going to leave that connection alone? Then we're going to wait for the next connection. Okay, it's the most logical thing to do in this kind of state, because we don't want this. We don't want to be running this on like an enterprise grade platform or something, and it ends up we have to manually restart it every time a connection decides to drop this entire listener. So obviously, yeah. So we're going to create the socket object in here, server socket.accept. Yeah, okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to handle all threads in a class, I suppose. List. I'm just gonna have to throw all of them instead of one fucking array list, because I can't be asked. Okay, let's see. Okay, is that static? Yes, it is. Okay, what we want to do now is do new hand. Oh no, let's create a thread for this to store in the array list. New thread, new handler, and then we're going to input the socket. This is the thread. They want to go into bots.threads.add, and then we're going to add this thread over here. Then we're going to start the thread, and then we can leave that connection alone. Now that connection is then going to go into the handler class, and the handler is going to handle it as it should. So what we are able to do now is, I believe we're actually done now. We can actually start this listener as well. We're going to do let's see. While no, let's just start it. Okay, so we can do threads dot add new listener. We're going to listen on port 554, sure. Actually, no, we need to store it the same way we did the last one. Okay, listener equals new listener, and then we can add the listener into here. Then we can start the listener. Now we've got the listener running, so the listener should run fine. Let's see, let's double check this is all good. It looks all good to me. So we're done with that. Now we can start with the communicator. Okay, the communicator is where we're going to accept the connection, or where we're going to send the connections. This is just going to be a really crappy one. I'm just going to make a static class. I'm just going to make a class and then just add a bunch of shit. Don't really need to make a package, honestly. Okay. Okay, this throws exception. Then we're going to create a new socket on localhost, so we can do okay. This is obviously going to be your. I expect you guys to have some Java knowledge, so don't like get mad if I don't fucking explain myself to half of this. So once you have created the socket object, then we can start with everything. All we're going to do is do a print writer, okay? Because who has time to what's it called? I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I gonna say? Who has time to set up everything? I just forgot what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So then we can print line. Now you want to make sure you do print line, because if you just do dot write, what happened is I've noticed. What the fuck? Okay, I don't know why this one is here. Oh, what? Okay, I'm on my .dev Aaron playlist. Okay, I don't use this YouTube account for shit, guys. Okay. Then we can, what's it called? Let's have a look here. What can we do? What was I gonna do again? I forget. Oh yeah, we have to put text in here, so we can do hello world. I should say this in the chat now. So yeah, okay, we can actually run this now and hope everything starts itself. Okay. So how you guys been doing today, man? $15, not too bad. Okay, the bot's online. We're now going to start this. Hold on. Can I make this smaller, please? Okay. Going to run this. If it all works, the bot should print hello world in the chat, the general chat. There we go. As you guys can see, it's something that's not too difficult to do, okay? And a lot of people seem to think it is difficult. It's not. Obviously, if you guys did enjoy this, I'd appreciate if you guys, thumbs up and whatnot. Subscribe maybe, Then we give me some suggestions below, and have a good day, guys.